The link to women's rights and totalitarianism has become an important subject because it influences misogynists in propagandistic ways. Understanding the link requires examining its intentions and effects. Some people believe there is a link while others argue there is no link. Evidence from totalitarianism, past and present, helps explain why this issue deserves careful attention. Whether someone is anti-factual, learning the facts provides misogynists with proof there is no link. This commentary explores the link, explains misunderstandings, highlights key details, examines claims, evaluates the systems, and summarizes the issues readers should understand before forming their own conclusions. An important aspect of this link is demographic engineering, which affects birth rates by treating women's bodies as state factories. Another significant factor involves expanding the labor pool in military, demonstrated through complete control. Experts, researchers, and observers often reference every other regime to illustrate its harm to women's rights. Additionally, totalitarianism contributes to violating women, creating both a security system and control system. Comparing the security of women with the control of them reveals meaningful similarities and differences. Together, these details provide a broader understanding of the link, showing how various factors interact and why the subject continues attracting attention from misogynists. Another important aspect of this link is the subversion of family loyalty, which affects familial authority by replacing it with state dependency. Another significant factor involves allegiance to a dictator, demonstrated through citizen control. Experts, researchers, and observers often reference families to illustrate the harm it does to them. Additionally, totalitarianism contributes to ruining families, creating both an overthrow and a structure. Comparing the overthrow with the structure reveals meaningful similarities and differences. Together, these details provide a broader understanding of the link, showing how various factors interact and why the subject continues attracting attention from misogynists. A third important aspect of the link is suppressing political dissent, which affects opposition leaders and activists by stripping women of civil rights. Another significant factor involves bigotry, demonstrated through extremism. Experts, researchers, and observers often reference elimination of dissent to illustrate totalitarian effects on women's rights. Additionally, totalitarianism contributes to controlling women's expression, creating both expression for women but controlled expression for women. Comparing women's expression with controlled expression reveals meaningful similarities and differences. Together, these details provide a broader understanding of the link, showing how various factors interact and why the subject continues attracting attention from misogynists. A fourth important aspect of the link is enforcing social conformity, which affects gender codes by serving as a highly visible baseline for public obedience and behavioral control. Another significant factor involves political weaponization, demonstrated through fears about traditional values. Experts, researchers, and observers often reference panic about gender ideology to illustrate totalitarian control of women's rights. Additionally, totalitarianism contributes to the erosion of women's rights, creating both a place for women, but an imposed place for women. Comparing women's place with an imposed place reveals meaningful similarities and differences. Together, these details provide a broader understanding of the link, showing how various factors interact and why the subject continues attracting attention from misogynists. A fifth important aspect of the link is rewarding male loyalty, which affects men's total domestic dominance by offering psychological bribes. Another significant factor involves keeping men loyal to the political hierarchy, demonstrated through loyalty competence trade-offs. Experts, researchers, and observers often reference patriarchal patronage systems to illustrate totalitarian effects on male delusion. Additionally, totalitarianism contributes to the manipulation of men, creating both a command system and a submission system. Comparing the control men have with the submission they also must have reveals meaningful similarities and differences. Together, these details provide a broader understanding of the link, showing how various factors interact and why the subject continues attracting attention from misogynists. A sixth important aspect of the link is creating moral scapegoats, which affects liberated women by blaming them for societal crises. Another significant factor involves distracting the public from economic or systemic failures, demonstrated through referring to their liberation as deviance. Experts, researchers, and observers often reference women's rights as testing grounds for broader control to illustrate totalitarian effects on the greater society. Additionally, totalitarianism contributes to the general violation of human rights, creating both a problem and a solution. Comparing the failures with the solutions reveals meaningful similarities and differences. Together, these details provide a broader understanding of the link, showing how various factors interact and why the subject continues attracting attention from misogynists. A seventh important aspect of the link is economic exploitation, which affects women in professional sectors by allowing the state to reallocate resources and jobs to preferred demographics. Another significant factor involves family values, demonstrated through state legitimacy. Experts, researchers, and observers often reference the job redistribution in the Third Reich to illustrate phasing women out of the workplace. Additionally, offering marriage loans to women contributes to incentives, creating both a trap and an opportunity. Comparing traps with opportunities reveals meaningful similarities and differences. Together, these details provide a broader understanding of the link, showing how various factors interact and why the subject continues attracting attention from misogynists. And an eighth important aspect of the link is ideological indoctrination, which affects motherhood by aligning strictly with state-approved propaganda. Another significant factor involves raising submissive future citizens, demonstrated through child rearing. Experts, researchers, and observers often reference the Komsomol in the Soviet Union to illustrate monopolizing education and youth groups. Additionally, undermining parental authority contributes to placing loyalty to the state or party leader over parents, creating both a domestic family and a state family. Comparing domestic family with state family reveals meaningful similarities and differences. Together, these details provide a broader understanding of the link, showing how various factors interact and why the subject continues attracting attention from misogynists. Overall, the supposed link between women's rights and totalitarianism remains significant because of its influence on propaganda. Examining its justification, validation, and fallaciousness provides valuable insight into its broader meaning. Although opinions may differ regarding the connection, reliable information encourages researching rather than just deciding. Future developments involving the link may introduce new understanding, challenges, growth, and points of view that reshape your environment. Listeners should continue exploring this link, considering falsifiable perspectives, and evaluating new info as it becomes available. A well-informed understanding of the link promotes better discussions, truer expressions, and better values.